Okay, we're going live a little bit early. I'll give everybody time to roll in here. Yes, not late today. But we are going to be reacting to an interview with Jesse Waters on Fox News, and he's going to be talking to big balls and Elon Musk. But how's everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing well. I got to sign back into my stupid YouTube account right now. Everything's all messed up. Let's see here. Let's see if anybody's here yet, because I did start early. Just got the notification. All right. So here we are. Everybody's rolling in here now. All is good. What's up, Snake Pit? Yeah, like I said yesterday, we're going to be doing a reaction to the interview with Big Balls tonight over on Fox News. So hope you're doing well today on this Thursday. All right, getting everything set up there. There we go. Okay. So Jeremy Prime, Mage, IDOT of the 199 giggity. And while we're waiting on that, there has been some good news today. And of course, some of you aren't going to know who this is, which is totally fine. But a young man, a young, unattractive, pathetic man named Jeff Grubb, who is a games journalist, got fired today, along with a lot of other games journalists. And I just wanted to show this tweet from Jeff Grubb so that you can have the proper response to his firing today. Jeff Grubb has TDS. Jeff Grubb hates your guts. Jeff Grubb hates Elon Musk. He hates Donald Trump. And he hates anybody that loves freedom and America. And so this is the type of mindset that, you know, I've always wanted to battle against when I created Geeks and Gamers. So seeing some clown like this get fired, very, very satisfying, along with Polygon getting shut down as well. So it's been a good day for gamers, and it's been a bad day for woke activists in the gaming world. So just wanted to show that one off right there, because that's a nice piece of good news. Let's see here. We've got Eric's his first time watching and super. Nice to see the greatest streamer ever step in front of the mic and cam. Handsome, intelligent, and insightful. Stop lying, Eric K. Stop lying. Why would you do that? We don't do that around here. You know, I get very uncomfortable when people are nice to me. Stop being nice. Don't compliment me. Call me names. Insult me. That's the way it should be. All right? It's the way God intended it right there. Okay. So make sure you do that. And there's a lot going on, man. You know, there's this story that I just became aware of with this chick right here. We'll get further into this. But this woman went viral for calling a kid the N-word and claimed he stole from her 18-month-old son. She's raised over 54,000. Now she's raised almost 100,000, I believe. And I like the Quarterings tweet right here, because the Quartering says, we're paying $100K for calling someone the N-word. This is about to be a wild summer. And I responded, let's effing go, boys. We are so back. I will show you all of that a little bit later, but I'm waiting for Jesse Waters prime time to start here in just a minute. So we will get further into that later on, but I am aware of that story. I'll show you the video and everything. It's pretty good stuff. It's pretty funny, and the reaction has been great. And there's a lot of based mofos out there. So I am glad to see that. So let's see. Fantastic Mr. Knox says Aussie meaning of the word grub, a dirty person. Jeff Grubb does look like a dirty person. Anyway, today, fellas. Probably good day, fellas. And hail the 199. Hail to you, brother. Appreciate that. Joey says, I'm at work. I'll watch when I get home. Keep kicking ass. And gay, hail the 199. Hail, brother. Thank you so much. So yes, we will be reacting to the Big Balls interview, which is about to start here momentarily. And then we'll talk about a lot of the other stuff going on throughout the day, because that's what we do around here at CobraCast. So looking forward to it. Yes, Dante, I am live. I told you guys I was going to try to go live tonight and cover this. Hail to Rumble. I see everybody over on Rumble. So hail to the Rumble chat. Appreciate you guys being here. I did send a tweet out too, by the way. I sent a tweet out. So if you're not following my CobraCast199 account, you need to be doing that. This is where the tweet notifications will go out. So make sure you're following this account if you're not. And then, of course, I'll retweet it from my main account. But that's where the notifications are going to be happening. So, all right, here we go. Here we go.
Tonight, our exclusive look into DOGE. Elon Musk was nice enough to invite us into the Eisenhower building last night to sit in on his weekly 10 p.m. DOGE meeting. Yeah, they usually meet at 10 o'clock. I'm almost in bed by then. We met the whole crew, even big balls, and they showed us how DOGE really gets done. We sat back, listened, and we learned a lot, and we hope you do too. Here's part one of our exclusive interview. Elon, thank you so much for bringing us into the meeting here. I'm going to do something no anchor ever does. I'm not going to talk.
What?
For as long as possible.
You're talking right now.
I'm going to let you run your meeting, and then I'll interrupt when I'm bored. So take it away.
Let's go. I like it.
Like a board meeting.
Like a board meeting. Exactly.
All right. Well, I guess we normally go around the table, say what do we get done this week?
This is great.
Want to go this way?
Sure. No, we start with you.
Sure. So actually, a lot of great work at the Treasury this week. One of the crazy things with regards to the Treasury is that when a payment is made, and the computers at the Treasury actually pay about $5 trillion per year, like crazy amounts, there was formerly not a budget code on there. So if a payment was made, you didn't know actually what it was for. It could have been for anything.
Yeah.
There was a $4 billion COVID fund in the Department of Education, and there was no receipts required. So people could just draw down on it. And when people looked into it, this wasn't us, this was before us, they found that money was being used to rent out.
I'm going to have to pause and make commentary. And I would like to note that I don't see a lot of diversity in the room.
Caesar's Palace for parties, rent out stadiums, etc. And so the one change that DOGE made with Department of Education is we had the simple requirement that if you draw down money, you must first upload a receipt. That was the only change that was made. You must upload your receipt. And upon doing so,
Yes.
nobody drew down any money anymore.
Yes, but we didn't say that we'd check the receipt. You could send a fake receipt. You could send a picture of your dog.
Wow.
Anything. And but as soon as we asked for anything at all, suddenly the requests were like, oh, we don't need it anymore. Huh, that's interesting.
They were renting Caesar's Palace.
Yes, they were like basically partying on the taxpayer money.
Stadiums.
Yes.
Leasing stadiums.
Leasing stadiums.
For what?
For parties, basically.
For parties.
Yes.
That's a big party.
It's a big party.
You'd think if you were stealing, you'd start small.
They do start small. But then what happens is over the years, so generally the fraud starts out small and they try to hide it. But then year after year, if nobody stops the fraud, it gets more and more brazen. And every year it gets bigger. And
let me ask a question. If you're stealing and there's this major corrupt system with very powerful people that have benefited from this for decades and decades and decades, and suddenly the richest man in the world gets involved with a lot of autistic dudes and they start exposing all the corruption, what do you think the normal course of reaction would be to try to defame the people involved? Which is exactly what's happened to Elon Musk. All the negativity you've heard about Elon Musk, all of the trying to destroy his brand, destroy his legacy, destroy his reputation, all being done by the very people that he is exposing. Makes perfect sense.
so they're literally renting out stadiums. Like
What's that, $1 million to rent out a stadium?
Fraud in flagrante delicto. Okay, we're talking at scale.
This is driving me crazy.
Oh yeah.
When you find these things, do you guys get mad? You're like, yes, I got one. How does it make you feel?
so common.
It's so common. I mean, you just get
so numb to it. Like,
unfortunately, by the 100th time you've heard it, it's hard not to get a little numb.
Yeah.
You know, but and by the 200th time, you're like, well, okay, it's just another day at the office.
We checked, is the Small Business Administration giving loans to dead people over the age of 120? The answer was yes, and it was around $330 million in total. So
People with a birthday that could not possibly be real.
Yeah.
Meaning they're over 100, they're 115 years old or older. The oldest living American is 114. So it's safe to say if anybody is in the system as 115 years or older, that is fake.
So just by sharing a database and looking at social security numbers that showed that at the time of the loan, they had listed as over 115 years old, or actually under 11. We didn't even check for under 18.
Babies and dead
Under 11 years old. That's pretty clear.
Babies
right?
and dead people who are getting loans.
That was $660 million.
Woo.
And also people with birth dates in the future.
What does that mean?
Well, in one, I mean, I think the birth date, I think in one case was like
Fetuses were getting
no, not
loans.
even. No, really sort of you're talking about like your great grandchildren, like with the birth date, like I think it was like 2165. So more than a century from now was the birth date.
George Jetson was getting paid.
Someone said the Legion of Autism. Yes, if you could ever, I would say in this room right here, this might be the strongest concentrated group of autism you may ever find. And that is some powerful autism in this room, like next level stuff, which I can appreciate.
Yes, because your birthday is in the future, like the far future, not like next year.
Right.
And this is either fraudulent or we have your birthday wrong.
It's
One of
either
the-
a typo or someone stealing.
Which is it? Yes.
Right.
Yes. You should at least ask, which is it?
Do you guys feel you're getting justice and accountability?
One of the, I think, extreme examples of non-accountability in some cases has occurred at some of the small agencies. I think the Inter-American Foundation, IAF, is one of the agencies we visited where, they get $50 million a year, congressional money, to give grants. These are things like, alpaca farming in Peru, improving them.
That's a real example.
Yes, that's the real description. Improving the marketability of peas in Guatemala.
Really?
Fruit jam. And yes.
What? Yeah.
So you might expect, in the private sector, a nonprofit to give, 80 to 90% of their money to grantees. In the case of IAF, that was 58%. So the other half goes towards management, travel.
What we're defined exactly, I mean, to use an example is that even if you agreed with supporting alpaca farmers in Peru, well, actually, most of the money never made it out of DC.
Mm-hmm.
It's going into the pockets of people in the neighborhood.
What
And
percentage?
they didn't even get to Peru.
Right. So what percentage do you think doesn't even get to the destination it's supposed to?
I believe the GAO estimates, this is not our estimate, I believe it was on the order of only 10 to 15 cents on the dollar actually gets to the end recipient, whether you agree with that cause or not.
So they're just stealing the money before
Yes.
it even gets anywhere.
There's layers of stealing. So there's the first layer of stealing, second layer of stealing, third layer of stealing.
Subcontractor,
And you start peeling the onion. Yeah,
subcontractor.
exactly. Contractor, subcontractor. It's like peeling an onion. And then maybe, and sometimes it's zero. Just flat, you get to the bottom of the onion, there's nothing there.
So maybe no one got a sex change in Guatemala.
It's possible that no one got a sex change in Guatemala.
I overheard a contractor tell one of her colleagues to falsify billable hours by creating a PowerPoint to mask a delay in the onboarding process in front of me. And this is like hour zero at this agency. And so, I mean, this is just a common theme that you take a look at these contracts, you take a look at these grants, and it's veiled in noble rhetoric. It's at the top level. It
Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And then you actually just follow what are the funds actually doing?
Or send us a picture.
Exactly. And
The send us a picture request is incredibly good. Like Pixar, it didn't happen. And then they're like, and it wouldn't be that hard to just, frankly, they could search for some fake pics on the internet or get AI to generate the pics, but they don't even bother doing that.
So you caught them cold billing fraud.
Oh, I caught them, her advising her colleague to do this because it takes a few days to onboard. So that is being investigated right now.
Yeah, I mean, generally, like these programs, these grants are going to be like along the lines of save the baby pandas. And it's like, well, of course, who wouldn't want to save the baby pandas? And you know, in some cases, they've got a show panda, which they will trot out for special occasions. In a lot of cases, they don't even have a show panda.
No panda.
There's not even one panda, because we asked for pictures, and we don't even get one panda. And it's like, well, that's a lot. You know, what does $1 billion get you? It does not even get you one panda.
You really want to see a baby panda?
Yeah, like, you know, like the Ebola money. We're like, okay, well, we agree with, like, we shouldn't have Ebola, you know. Where is the money going? Oh, it's going to Deloitte in DC. Like, what is an accounting firm doing with Ebola money?
What has been the biggest resistance? Is there one agency? Is there one department that when you guys walk in, they all start fighting you, start hiding
Wait, I thought
things?
you weren't going to talk.
I'm sorry.
But I guess you can answer that question. Sure. I mean, let's. Yes, we've certainly had some battles.
Battles.
Yeah. I mean, who should talk about USIP?
Oh, Nate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's an agency, a small agency called the United States Institute of Peace. It's definitely the agency we had the most fight at. We actually went into the agency and found that they had loaded guns inside of their headquarters. Institute for Peace.
I mean, any given company, any given organizational name is going to be kind of be the opposite of the title.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was by far the least peaceful agency that we've worked with, ironically.
Of course.
Additionally, we found that they were spending money on things like private jets, and they even had a $130,000 contract with a former member of the Taliban. This is real. We don't encounter that at most agencies.
Yeah.
What was the money going to the Taliban for?
So as a contractor, they received $130,000 for generic services. And to Elon's point, there was not actually a clear description of what the contractor services were for. But
was it for opium?
Unclear.
Or weapons?
Or nothing.
Or nothing.
or abroad.
Or nothing.
And you naturally have to ask the question, well, how did we get here? Like when the country was founded, there were only 4 agencies. Today, there are over 400. So there's been a 100x increase in the number of agencies since the founding of the nation. And thanks to President Trump, he's now signed 2 executive orders to start to reduce the number of agencies in the government, and the Institute of Peace was one of them, which is why our team went in to try and understand what was going on.
The way we got here is that, and I've said this, I'll repeat a line that I said when Donald Trump decided to run for president in 2016. I'll repeat what I said back then, because there were so many people saying that Donald Trump has no business getting involved in politics. And I said, politics has always been a shit show, a dog and pony show, a cool kids club. We have a very, very low standard for our politicians, historically speaking. Bill Clinton did not become president because of his political career. Bill Clinton became president because he played a saxophone on Arsenio Hall with sunglasses, and everybody thought he was cool. A lot of people might not be old enough to remember that, but I am. Bill Clinton played a saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show with sunglasses, and everybody thought he was the coolest guy in the world. It wasn't based on policy. It was because many people said he was going to be the first black president. That is a fact. That is why Bill Clinton got elevated. All right. George W. Bush was not qualified to become the president of the United States of America, but George W. Bush had the last name Bush, and he was the kind of guy you could have a beer with, and that's why people voted for him, not because of his record, because if you look at his record, it was a disaster. He failed at everything he ever did. Barack Obama, a community organizer, a one-term senator, became the most popular president of all time at the time. Not because of his political career, not because of the things he accomplished. So when Donald Trump decided to run for president, I said, if Donald Trump decided he was going to play Batman in the next Batman movie, the fandom would reject that. But he has the ability to run for president because we have a lower standard of who can run for president in this country versus who can play Batman. We have a higher standard for who plays Batman. And that's no disrespect to Trump. Obviously, Trump is a real life Batman. But I'm speaking in plain common sense here that when someone is cast as Batman, fans have they go crazy when someone's cast as Batman. When someone becomes president, they're like, who cares, right? Because we don't have a standard for our politicians. We have a bunch of corrupt motherfuckers. And now Donald Trump, being a businessman, a career businessman with no political experience whatsoever, was able to walk into Washington and dominate it. Destroy every single career politician because they're all corrupt and none of them are actually qualified. That's how it happened. Here we go. Let's continue.
And that's when we found all of the craziness, like the weapons in their armory. We found the payments to the Taliban.
Oh, yeah.
So
They try to hide the evidence.
Right. So just a few hours after we got into their headquarters, we found that their chief accountant had actually deleted over 1 terabyte of accounting records from several years. So you'd have to ask the question, well, why would somebody do that? And the DOGE team, fortunately, was able to recover that data with the help of a few great employees at the Institute of Peace. And I think the most troubling thing was they received $55 million a year from Congress, and any money that went unspent, instead of returning that to Congress, they would sweep it into a private bank account, which had no congressional.
A ret cop just says, why can't we listen to the interview? You dumb fuck. I have to have transformative content. I have to give commentary. If I don't, the whole channel gets taken down. So would you rather me just let it play for 10 minutes and then get a strike on the channel and then you don't get to see any of it? Or would you rather me commentate and keep the channel alive? If you don't like it, go fucking watch it on Fox News. Shut the fuck up. Get out of my chat. Go fuck yourself.
Oversight. And that's what they would use to fund things like events at their headquarters and the private jets. And so I think it's a great example because most Americans don't know what's going on at a lot of these smaller agencies. And this is, I think, the most extreme case of some of the wasteful spend that we're finding.
So the agencies are hiding money from you. They're sending it to the
Somebody says maybe he didn't know. Well, he knows now. Welcome to tough love.
Taliban. They have loaded weapons in the department buildings.
At the Institute of Peace.
At the Institute of Peace.
Yes.
That's right.
So this is a cover-up when you guys roll in.
This one, yes, a cover-up. Yeah.
It's a cover-up.
They did delete a vast amount of financial information. That's really a definition of a cover-up.
Isn't that illegal to delete evidence?
Yes.
Shred documents?
It is. It's certainly illegal to delete accounting records that that Congress would certainly want to know where the congressionally appropriated funds are going from taxpayers.
When you catch them going Hillary style on their computers, do you refer this to the Department of Justice?
In this case, we did refer the evidence in the accounting example to the FBI and DOJ. We were proud to do that. So yes, we did.
Resistance has shown up in some very surprising places. So for example, the famous fork in the road email, the deferred resignation program. So this was a program where you could resign from the government, collect pay and benefits for the next 8 months. Probably the most attractive separation program ever in human history. And the resistance actually came from the outside with people saying this is a trick. And I heard somebody refer to it as an apple with a razor blade. And no, this was just a really juicy apple, caramel dipped apple. It was that good, but people were talked out of taking it. And now what started to happen is we did have about 80,000 people take it. And now those folks who did take it are on the beach or they've moved on to a new job and they're still getting paid. And so now we're starting to offer fork 2 and fork 3, where people can see that someone's eaten this apple and it was actually really tasty and good for them.
Is DOGE just getting started?
I don't like the hard cut. I wish they wouldn't do that. I know they're doing it because I don't know, something probably happened, but the hard cut right there is a little jarring considering you were just going to sit there and just listen to them talk. Yapping Tom says, best wishes to your family. America is still winning, is all I want, or I need to get away from my Canadian bullshit over here. Trump 2028, LFG, hail the 199 fellowship. Thank you, brother. Panic and Skyfaller says, there's been debate over how good the Ukraine minerals deal is for us, but getting those rare earth minerals gives us even more leverage over China because we now have more sources of electronics. Nick Nero says, not late, but still gay. Modalicious says they're exposing big balls. Darth Manic for 10 says, I've been binging all the Netflix WWE the past couple of days because of you. LOL, I'm a kid again. Plus, Revenge of the Sith. Good times, man. Respect and love. Cena is still my hero. Hey, I respect that, man. I 100% respect that. John freaking Murdoch for 50 says, feeling the tough love. Hail the 199. Hail Doge. Hail Jeremy. Keep the love coming. Thank you, John freaking Murdoch. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, like my attitude is I got nothing against anybody. I want everybody to watch my channel. I want everybody to watch my show. That's not the reality of the situation. And so I just feel like setting a standard early so that we don't have to deal with it later on. You know, it's why I let everybody know, like when I have these people complaining about, you did this to us because you pre-ordered a Nintendo Switch 2. And I'm like, well, then I just bought another one. What the fuck are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Nothing. So I will continue to do just that. Buy whatever I want.
This is a long-term enterprise.
It's a long-term enterprise.
Thank you, Shorty
because
Short.
if we take our eye off the ball, the waste and fraud will come roaring back.
They can doge when Democrats get back in power.
Yeah. Well, I think some of the things that, like, we're trying to have it be such that the funding is removed, so the grants are gone. So there's a lot of work required to restart the waste and fraud, and that will at least slow it down.
Elon Musk shows primetime the cave, the money faucet, and the Stone Age phones. Right back.
All right, we're going to mute, let that play through. AJ says, me and my girl are planning to make a trip to Florida next year. Would be honored to meet you if you do fan meetups. We are proud supporters of the 199. Hell yeah. Well, Central Florida is probably the best place, that we could do that. I mean, I'm in the Panhandle right now, but I'm in Central Florida a lot. So yeah, just let me know when you guys are down there. We might set something up. Eric K says, Clinton was the only straight black president. Oof. Pat Patriot says, I watched a clip of The Apprentice today where Trump fired an entire team. That's what I voted for. I cannot, I'm so happy The Apprentice is back and so many people are finally seeing The Apprentice for the first time, maybe. It's so good. Fantastic Mr. Knox says, Bill blew his sax like he blew, well, I ain't finishing the rest. Shorty Short says, I like Jared's commentaries. Thank you, Shorty Short. VJ says, hail the 199, hail Elon, hail big balls. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier with the Get the membership. Thank you. Super Vask 3D says, do you love me? What? You can't even spell my name correctly, Dan. What are you doing? What are we doing here? Can't even spell my name correctly. Grand Potato says, Jeremy, you got a dead squirrel on your face. All right, it's gone now. No problem now, right? So, let's see. Okay, so we've got people on Rumble. Thank you for watching on Rumble. If you're just tuning in, we are doing a reaction to Jesse Waters' Primetime, and he is interviewing Elon Musk and Big Balls with the Doge team. I don't think the whoever's named Big Balls, I don't think he's spoken yet. We will see. Look at that. Super Vask 3D with 10 gifted memberships. Holy crap. Look at that, man. I respect you now, Dan. I didn't before, but I do now. I respect you. I've always had a lot of respect for people that send super chats and gifted memberships. That's just how I operate. So thank you, Dan. Appreciate you, brother. One day he'll join us for Mario Kart. One day. I don't know how to do. Can I do like a jump forward on here? I don't think I can. There we go. Okay. We don't care about you, Hannity. I promise you that. All right, I'm trying to jump it forward so we can get back to it. Now it's freezing up on me. There we go. Here we go.
The exclusive interview with Elon Musk and the Doge boys. They took us inside the caves of bureaucracy. Watch this. We heard about a cave. We had federal workers working in a cave.
That's me. Yeah.
Are they still?
You're welcome,
Zinni
Zinni Biscuit.
Do you want to tell us about your cave? Your caving.
I went mining.
You're spelunking.
So I've been helping out with retirement. And a few weeks ago, I had a chance to go to the mine. And so I took a golf cart through security down into the side of a mountain and entered daylight left. And I entered this whole space of caverns and roads. And we get to a metal door and I open it up. And there in front of me is a sea of filing cabinets from the 1960s. And I'm walking around. It's super chilly. Smells like paper. And I realized as a mine, it's a great mine. It's secure. It's well lit, temperature controlled. And so the question we're asking is not, is this a good place to store physical media? Which it is. It's amazing for that. The question is, why are we still using paper in 2025? So I brought something to show you. Of what's inside the mine.
And normally, the normal process for retirement can be over 6 months. So once you file your retirement papers, that's why it takes 6 months.
What is that?
So these are replica case folders that people use to retire from the government. And so these are all compiled by hand, moved around on carts through the mine. It takes many months to do that. And this one is a single retiree's paper required to leave the government.
If somebody wants to retire, they can't because it takes 6 months to compile the paper and carry the paper into a mine where it is stored. And also, all the calculations are done by hand.
Everything has
in
to be
2025.
reconciled, adjudicated. This is thicker than the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
And if I had to process this, I would rather do my taxes in the dark than have to go through this. And so what we're doing is we're bringing this process online with modern software. And I'm excited to share that as of tonight, we have 25 retirees going through an entirely online retirement process in the government for the very first time.
It sounds so simple.
Yes, and it's great collaboration with retirement services inside OPM. So this has always been their dream, and we're just here to help accelerate it.
That's a pretty fat stack. Was that Kissinger's?
Oh no, the record is almost. Several shopping carts.
There's a whole pallet for one retiree with 27 boxes of paper on it.
For one guy.
That's the record.
I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly, and it also frees up people because we shouldn't have over 1,000 people carrying paper into a mine. That is not a good use of people's lives. So there are many other things that they could do that would be far more productive than carrying paper into a mine.
That is insane. Holy crap. South Perspective says what Trump has to do is not only fire government employees, he has to replace all managers and people who make decisions because those are the ones who later hire and bring these sick people in. That's true, 100%. Legalize adulthood with a proper 199. Dave Rubin called. He says it's transformative when he puts his furry costume and Mr. Winky gets a little Superman cape. Oh, no. Oh, no. I apologize for the comment about Dave Rubin. So here's Sydney Sweeney to make up for that. I do apologize. And of course, you all know how good it is to have Sydney Sweeney show up to the party. We all like that. We all appreciate that. Everybody have fun. Nips Litter says mid. Stop it.
Should I do it?
Do not come.
I'm going to do it.
Do not come.
I'm going to come.
Oh. Thank you, Legalize Adulthood. South Perspective for 10 says Americans wonder why the rest of the world is interested in American politics. It's because everything that happens there affects the rest of the world, and that's why Trump must succeed. I agree completely, 100% with everything you said right there.
if you were to say we have iPhones, does the government have pay phones? Like, how prehistoric is this technology?
Oh yes, it's it's very sorry.
It's very prehistoric.
It's like Flintstones.
It's Flintstone level stuff.
It's so prehistoric. Like dinosaurs would think this is, kind of old.
Okay.
That's how prehistoric it is.
Okay. So
I mean, basically, the only thing living was a sponge. That's how prehistoric it was.
okay, so we're leaving the Stone Age and we're moving into the Golden
The
Age.
Precambrian era is what we're talking about.
Okay. There was a story I heard about mules. There were mules delivering mail to the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Which might not be a bad thing, actually.
You have the mule picture.
Yeah.
Picture, it doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah. But this is a case where actually it might not. I think. Do we agree with the mule, or should there be mules?
I think it can be modernized.
It could be, if there's opportunity for improvement.
Yes. Right.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, I'm at the Postal Service. I think a lot of people
I know Trump's
don't
live.
realize
We'll check that out
there's
after.
actually a law that says that the post office is supposed to have a balanced budget.
There is?
Yeah, there is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's not working, is it?
No, it's not.
So they're breaking the law.
They're breaking the law.
Okay.
Basically, since 2007, almost every year since 2007, they've lost money. So you might ask, like, what happened in 2007? So there was additional.
2007?
Yeah, there was additional regulation
Okay.
that went into place that essentially crippled them and put them down this not good path where they essentially are stuck in the past as well as bleeding money left and right.
Okay.
So it's great and we appreciate that the postal employees are willing to go to the hardest parts in this country. But we think that we can modernize it and help them become profitable. Right now, last year they lost $9.5 billion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Serious money.
We finally meet big balls. Up next.
We finally meet big balls. Let's go. Yapping Tom says, forgot to mention, finally watched Equilibrium. It was really good and relevant in current day. The Matrix has more rewatchability, though. That's not a bad take, actually. I mean, listen, The Matrix is a phenomenal film. I'm not hating on Matrix at all. I personally like Equilibrium more. Equilibrium can't really compare to The Matrix. The Matrix had a massive budget. Equilibrium did not have a massive budget, but they're both phenomenal movies. But rewatchability, you're probably right for sure on that. Night Call says, I work for government environmental, and we've only started converting to digital files now as well. After they upload that entire mine, they should get rid of those cave dwellers. Hell yeah, man. I hear you on that. Mike Zero Source says, what scares me is the conflict between India and Pakistan, two nuclear-powered countries ready to rumble. I am a GWOT vet, and I'm afraid we're going to be brought into another war. I don't know, man. I think Trump's going to not let us get into another war. Now, again, the concern is what happens after Trump's out of office, and that's why I'm very interested to see what happens in 2028, but 2026 midterms are going to be huge, people might not be aware of how big 2026 midterms are going to be, but the 2026 midterms are going to be fucking massive. That's going to be really big. So Panic the Skyfaller says, wait, Mike Walls wasn't fired. He was promoted. That's what it looks like. Yep. Phil Butler says, when I retired after a year, they figured mine out and I had to pay $17,000 in overpayments. Holy shit. Let's see. CG 87343 says Trump is giving a commencement speech, if I could talk, at the University of Alabama. Roll Tide and hail the 199. Yeah, I've got that pulled up right now. Panic of Skyfaller says so prehistoric. It was Gary's first job. Let's see. And then Nightcall says Equilibrium, The Matrix, I know Gung Fu. Man, Christian Bale is awesome in that movie. I mean, he is just absolutely ridiculous in that movie. see if I can get the 15-second. Nope, I think we're probably caught up in real time here. Nope, here we go. Oh, let's back this up. All right, here we go.
Part 3. Here's the interview with Elon Musk and the rest of the Doge crew. We finally asked the one question on our mind. Who's big balls?
It's me. That should be obvious.
Why do they call you big balls?
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves like super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
Yeah.
So what do you
LinkedIn
do?
is so cringe.
What does big balls do?
Right now, I'm working on some payment computer stuff. So one of our initiatives is to root out fraud and waste. And to do that, we started looking at the payment computers. And as mentioned earlier, like there is no accounting of what payments actually go to in the payment computer. So like you look at a specific line item, like $20 million. You're like, okay, well, what is this money going to? And for the majority of payment systems, it's like, well, we don't really know.
That headline said big balls roots out waste and fraud. Dude, that's one of the best headlines. Like, look at it right here. It says big balls roots out waste and fraud.
What does big balls do?
Right now, I'm working on some payment computer stuff. So one of our initiatives is to root out fraud and waste. And to do that, we started looking at the payment computers. And as mentioned earlier, like there is no accounting of what payments actually go to in the payment computer. So like you look at a specific line item, like $20 million. You're like, okay, well, what is this money going to? And for the majority of payment systems, it's like, well, we don't really know. And
Yeah, they're like, what? That would be the response.
Is this the most basic responses?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the most common response.
What do you say when people just say, I don't know?
Well, it's a huge cause for concern because like the upstream thing, which is distributing the money, literally has no checks and no accountability to the actual American taxpayer. So it's a huge vector for fraud, waste, and abuse.
Do these people not respect taxpayer money?
I mean, there's no incentive to if you work in the government.
That's right.
I think the incentives will always decide the outcomes.
Yes.
Do you guys feel like you're putting yourself at risk by doing this because you're stirring up so much hostility by these people ripping us off?
100%. Well, we don't need to speculate about that. You can see online in the protests that they make that very clear. I mean, I've been hanged in effigy many times. And there have been people that have actively advocated at these violent protests for my death, and also advocated for the death of the people at DOGE.
I think the young folks of us have gotten email threats from reporters and the public alike. I think, speaking for myself, I dropped out of Harvard and came here to serve my country. And it's been unfortunate to see, lost friendships. Most of campus hates me now. But I think fundamentally, I hope people realize through conversations like this that reform is genuinely needed. And if there's one, I think this is important to say, if there's one group of people who really have a shot of success, it's the people here. They're up until 2 a.m., Monday through Sunday. DOGE should not recognize weekends. We're working all the time.
What inspired you to drop out of Harvard to do this?
There's a lot of reform that's needed. I think the value of this and the impact here is so much more vast than anything you could learn in a classroom doing computer science.
And you guys are sleeping here, I'm hearing. You guys are up all night. You have this meeting at 10 o'clock every Wednesday?
We'll probably go back to work right after this.
Yeah.
You're going back to work after this?
Yes.
Right.
It's almost 11 o'clock.
So that's early.
It's early? Can I go to bed?
They're gamers.
It's an incredible work ethic.
They're gamers.
You should be really, really proud of yourself. Do good people come up to you and say thank you for doing what you're doing?
Absolutely. There are people in the State Department that will stop you, or all of the agencies that we've been to, that'll stop you in the hallways or write emails and say, I was scared to write this, or I don't know if you're interested in this. But they usually have great ideas. And if they often have the best ideas because they've worked in the places and they've been stifled by the bureaucracy for so many years. So one of the great things that, at least in my experience, that we listen to them and empower them.
So yes, in fact, I'd like to emphasize that because we'd like to just give a big thank you to all the government employees who are helping reduce the waste and fraud, because this is, we really couldn't do it without you. So
it's a group effort.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not trying to sort of say all government employees are bad. That's absolutely not the case. It's just that, there actually just does need to be a serious effort to reduce the waste and fraud. And we're just making that happen. And a lot of people in the government are very glad to see it happen.
I think it's really important to recognize every single person around this table that's embedded within an agency is supporting that agency, whether they're working on systems or working through people. We are encountering droves of government employees who are missionaries, not mercenaries, who are actually here serving because they believe in what they're doing and they want to do things well. We are trying to empower them, and they feel empowered now to ask the question of why? Why aren't we doing this? What else can we be doing? How can we fix this? And I think agency by agency, it is filled with exceptional government employees, right? And when we give them the tools, when we give them the systems, and we leave behind systems to help them do their jobs better, that's the permanent change, right? And they're embracing that, not because it's new to them, it's because it's something they've always wanted to do. But for the first time ever, we're giving them the tools and the collaboration to be able to do that.
It's a very important.
Imagine being against this. Imagine what type of mind virus you must have to be against this, to be against people cutting fraud and waste from the fucking government. Imagine being on the side of the government. It's crazy, but there are people out there that have been programmed to think just like that. Mike Zero Source for 20 says, I hope you're right, Jeremy. I had a reunion today with guys I served with in Iraq. Our fear is another war. War sucks and the nightmares never go away. VA therapy for PTSD also sucks. I'm in one of those moods. Hey, man, the one thing I can tell you is, first of all, thank you for your service. And secondly, I can't promise you a lot, but I can promise you that every single person in this chat appreciates what you've done. And if you ever need a getaway, just know that you got a place here, man. Like the 199 always having your back. So we greatly appreciate it right here. And I hope that everything went good with the reunion, and let your battle brothers know they got a place here at the 199 as well. So thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. Fantastic. Mr. Knox says big balls. I didn't think anyone would notice my name. Rachel Maddow repeats big balls angrily. Big balls got noticed for all the funny reasons. It's 100% true. Look at that chat. Everybody thanking him for his service. Greatly appreciated. Fantastic. Mr. Knox has left for the funny reasons left. See, Musk is only employing white dudes in Doge. Musk has Asian dudes in Doge left. Well, are there black dudes in Doge? That's exactly how it goes, too. That's exactly how it'll go. Because that's why diversity does not mean diversity, by the way. Diversity means anti-white. That's what diversity means. So anytime anybody uses the term diversity unironically, they're essentially saying we need less white dudes. That's what the diversity means. It doesn't mean diversity at all. Chris Chambers becomes a new member. Thank you. Let's see. Darth Manic says, if the Constitution changed, Elon 2028. I don't think Elon wants it. I think Elon is right where he wants to be. I don't think Elon would run for president even if he could. I just don't think I don't think that that's his interest at all. I could be wrong.
Message. That message needs to get out a lot more. I'm so glad you said that.
We have exceptional people at all of our agencies. Exceptional. I mean, they do a thankless job and they work incredibly hard.
I love to hear how collaborative it is with these people in these agencies, and it's not all conflict. Sometimes in the media, you always hear about conflict, and you guys are considered these ruthless suits. that come in and scare people, but it's
Conflict is the exception.
There is
Yeah.
conflict, but that is the exception. It's actually true of history in general. People study the wars a lot, but actually most of the time there wasn't war.
it's just not as exciting.
It's just not as exciting.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, for the TV guys, we like conflict, but in this case, we love the collaboration. So thank you guys. Thanks for allowing me this access in here. You guys are just really, really bright, young, smart patriots. And you have a great team. And thank you, Elon, for everything you've done for the country. We really appreciate it. We're eternally grateful.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. We got the Maryland dad body.
That's awesome, man. That was super cool. And really glad that we got to hear from the DOGE team and Elon and just get a little bit of insight into what their day is like and what they're like. That was super cool. AOE2 Farik says, hail Jeremy and chat. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Godzilla's Greaser says, real diversity is diversity of the mind. Gold Standard for 5 says, why is Trump deporting children to El Salvador? Very disturbing. I actually found out. Hang on just a minute. Hang on. Let me call Trump real quick. Because obviously I have him on speed dial. So hello. Hey, Mr. President. Yeah, I have a super chat here. It's a $5 super chat. Sorry. I know Trump only likes to answer like $100 and up. But yeah, there's a guy asking, why is Trump deporting children to El Salvador? Very disturbing. Okay, I'll let him know. Okay. All right, so Trump said, because fuck you. That's why. So I hope that helps. But in the future, we can only have Trump answer $100 and up super chats. That's the president's requirement, not mine. Okay. Darth Manic says, I meant for Elon 2028 retard. I meant you for Elon at 2028. What do you mean, me? Like, would I support Elon 2028? I would, but I don't think Elon wants it. But I would more so support Trump 2028, if that's what you're asking. So yeah, like, imagine sending me, not you, Darth Manic, but imagine sending me a $5 super chat asking me, why is Trump doing what he's doing? I don't know. And all I know is that's what I voted for. And if it upsets you, more power to you. That's kind of why I tweeted this out earlier, where I said, because everybody was whining about Microsoft raising prices. And, I said 50% are blaming Trump for Microsoft's decision. 50% are blaming Nintendo for Microsoft's decision. Nobody is blaming Microsoft for Microsoft's decision. And then I put, and I wanted to make sure I pissed everybody off equally. I just want to make it clear that I voted for Trump 3 times. I'll vote for him in 2028. And I've also pre-ordered multiple Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that if you're mad, get super mad. Put on a cape and be super mad. That's it right there. Okay. All right. So Trump is live, apparently. Let's hear what Trump's having to say right now.
Alabama, Titletown, USA. That's
Roll Tide, baby. Let's go. Titletown, USA.
And I love this place. Maybe it's because I won Alabama by 45 points. Could that be the reason? The way they say, the polls have closed in Alabama. Trump has won Alabama immediately. It was very quick. It was very, very quick and nasty. That's what we like. They put all 7 of your commencement ceremonies. I don't know if you know this, but they put them all together first time ever. So I better do well or I'm in big trouble. But I want to thank President Bell for his 10 years of distinguished service, highly respected.
He's more
gentleman.
gold than the scarves.
But 10 years of service to this great university, overseeing the education of 100,000
What up, laughing man?
Alabama graduates. That's something to have on your record. I also want to thank Alabama Governor Kay Ivey, who's here with us, and she's a fantastic. Where is she? She's around here someplace. She's here. I just took a picture. I said, you're doing a great job, along with the very wonderful man, a friend of mine, Senator Tommy Tuberville. Where's Tommy?
Former Auburn coach.
Tommy's great. When he wanted to run for the Senate, I said, well, you beat Alabama 6 times in a row. How can you run for the Senate? He said, well, I just look at him and I say, well, I was responsible for them getting Nick Saban. I said, that's a good reason. And he won very easily. He won. but I'll never forget that. Thanks also to a wonderful person, Representative Lisa McLean, a great person.
That's a great answer
highly
from Tuberville.
Gary Palmer, Robert Adderholt, Dale Strong, Ronnie Jackson, Ralph Norman, along with Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth, Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall, Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen, great people, Alabama Senate President Pro Tem Garland Gudger, Chancellor Sid Trant, and members of the University of Alabama Board of Trustees. But most importantly, and they would agree with this, let's give a big round of applause to your incredible parents, grandparents, and family members.
Darth Manic! Darth Manic for a proper 199! Jeremy 2028, Elon VP, Ryan Secretary of Defense, Beardo Press Secretary, Trump Secretary of Social Media, Mike Hype Man, LOL. You want Beardo as Press Secretary? How about Krista for Press Secretary? Beardo would be a horrible press. He couldn't read half the words. Thank you, Darth Manic, for the proper freaking 199.
I'm so happy you love the first drop of my collection of Frankie's bikinis. We have more dreamy pieces coming our way, so tap to sign up for early access so you can get more information.
I respect that. I respect that.
Because they made this wonderful day possible. Oh, you're great. Without them, it doesn't happen. Without them, you probably aren't here and you wouldn't have that big, beautiful smile on your faces. This year, the graduating Alabama class of 2025 has over 6,600 graduates. You're the largest class in school history. Among your ranks are among the 800 first-generation college students and nearly 3,000 students from right here in the great state of Alabama.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
And this class also includes many Rhodes Scholars, Goldwater Scholars, 213 Merit Scholars, and over 1,500 students graduating with red caps. You know what that signifies? 4.0 GPA. That's a lot of students. That's a lot of students. That's pretty good. I know who I'd pick. I'd look for a red cap. I say, I want you to work for the beautiful Trump administration, this lovely administration. In addition, the class of 2025 has nearly 130 active duty service members, veterans, and members of the University of Alabama, ROTC. Thank you very much. Thank you. Everywhere you look, you can see the fear.
Just in, China is saying it's assessing possible trade talks with the United States right now. So that's just in from Watcher Guru 20 minutes ago. China says it's assessing possible trade talks with the United States.
Your spirit of the school, but nowhere more clearly than in your world-class athletics. There's nothing like it. Probably there's no school like it. That's why I would like to recognize the 11 graduating seniors on the University of Alabama football team. Where may they be? Where are they? You just have to look, and they're about a foot taller than everybody else. Oh, great. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Great season. Thank you. Thank you. Great season. There is something truly special about the players, coaches, and the fans who packed the stands at Bryant-Denny Stadium and proudly sing Dixieland Delight.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Alabama has changed college football forever and inscribed into the history books the names of Bear Bryant, Joe Namath, 4 Heisman Trophy winners, and of course, the great Nick Saban.
I'm pretty sure I'm a lifelong Alabama fan. I love Nick Saban. I'm pretty sure Nick Saban is a Democrat. I'm pretty sure he is. I might be wrong, but I do think I've never really heard him talk politics. He's certainly bent the knee to BLM. I know that much.
This place is truly where legends are made. It really is. It's a special place. When your president called, we talked about it. It took me about 2 seconds to say, I'll go. I wasn't looking to do it, and we are busy. You know, we're winning a lot of battles right now. We love winning, don't we? Love winning. We're winning a lot of battles. But I wanted to do this. For the University of Alabama, good isn't good enough, tough isn't tough enough, and great isn't great enough. The Crimson Tide does not rest, does not quit, and does not stop winning until it's all time. You know, it's all time. You're always winning, and you're going to keep winning. That's why the University of Alabama football team has won more games in the last decade than any college football team in America. That's not bad.
It's because of Saban.
And it's why last fall you beat Auburn for the 5th year in a row. That's not bad.
Fuck Auburn, baby. Fuck
That's
Auburn.
not bad. The University of Alabama has a brand, and that brand is winning. That brand is winning.
Well, we'll
Great
see if
school.
DeBoer is able to
Last
follow
year,
through.
the Crimson Chaos watched the Tide Hoops make it to the Final Four for the first time ever. And this year, you built on your incredible record and returned to the Elite Eight. So not only is Alabama a great football school, it's now one of the nation's best basketball schools. And congratulations. And I love sports, and I think I should have come here. I think I should have come here. Congratulations as well to the women's track and field team for winning 2 SEC titles this year. That's something. As long as I'm president, we will always protect women's sports. Men will not play in women's sports. No way.
I hear you,
They
Graham.
say
I
that's
hear
an
you.
80-20 issue. No, it's a 97-3 issue, I think. No, men will not be playing in women's sports. I said that, and I classified it with a very powerful executive order. As you know, it's done. The class of 2025 was the first to enter the halls of this university in the aftermath of COVID-19. Following a difficult senior year of high school, many of you came here to Tuscaloosa from around the country, and for the very first time, you experienced something called freedom. You had freedom. So let's give a big round of applause to the leaders of this state who chose liberty over lockdowns. They did. They did a good job. Did a good job. As you know, there are a few campuses in the world more beautiful than this one, and there are a few memories sweeter than the ones you have formed really at this capstone and at the capstone. You'll miss the beautiful sounds of Denny chimes, the excitement of lining the Walk of Champions, the Saturday tailgates at the Quad. As you graduate, it's natural to reflect on 4 years of happy memories, and you've really had happy memories here. You've done a lot of winning. Winning is a good thing to do. But today, I'm also asking you to look forward to really something very, very bright and more promising. And it's going to be an even more promising tomorrow. I promise you that. You're the first graduating class of the golden age of America. We're in the golden age. You watch. It's the golden age. This is the golden age. We've done things that nobody thought possible. 100 days yesterday. 100 days, and we've done things that nobody thought even possible. Like many generations before you, you're graduating at an exciting time for our nation, a period of both extraordinary change and incredible potential and what will be unbelievable growth. You're going to see that very soon. You're going to see it starting very, very soon. The whole world is talking about it. Our country has always been defined by its ability to reform and reinvent itself. to meet the challenges of the next era. The last 4 years were not good for our country, but don't let that scare you. It was an aberration. We're run by people who truly, at that time, 4 years, we were run by people that didn't have a clue. They didn't have a clue. I'm trying to be nice when I say it that way. They allowed our beautiful USA to be laughed at, scorned, and taken advantage of by everybody. We were ripped off on trade by nations all over the world, both friend and foe, and oftentimes a friend was far worse on trade than the foe. But those days are over. You're at the start of something very, very big. You're going to see that very soon. Now, exactly 250 years after the first Patriots stood and fought at Lexington and Concord, we're in the midst of another kind of revolution, a revolution of winning and a revolution of common sense. Common sense. Everywhere you look, broken systems, corrupt institutions, and tired dogmas are being swept away by the tide of history. Ancient wisdom is being rediscovered, and the best and strongest traits of America are coming back for all to see, bigger, better, and greater than ever. Coming back, and they're coming back fast. The spirit of our age is one of boldness, vigor, ambition, and adventure. And it's exciting to be you and young. Oh, I'd pay you a lot of money to have your age. You have a great future. The people have rejected the voices of a failed establishment. You saw that in the election. We've turned the page on endless wars, crippling debt, open borders, ruinous inflation, and the lack of respect for our country and for its leaders. But we're turning that all around, and we're turning it around very fast. We will very quickly make America great again. This week, we're celebrating the most successful first 100 days of any presidential administration in the history of our country. And we've been given a lot of credit for that, but 100 days does not a full term make. But we're going to do even better as we move along. In a matter of weeks, we've achieved the lowest number of illegal border crossings ever recorded.
Yes.
And you've seen it, hundreds of thousands of people pouring into our country from prisons, from mental institutions, from gangs, and all over the world, not just in South America. You'd see hundreds of thousands of people pour across in one day. You know what we had just recently? Three. And we slashed the number of illegal aliens released into the United States by 99.999%. And you know, if that number is wrong, the fake news, which is all over the place today, is going to be correcting me before I get to the next sentence. Now, 99.999%. How about that? Nobody thought that was possible. They said you needed legislation. No, you just needed a new president. That's what you needed.
It's like it's a Trump rally.
But despite the tremendous success, as you've been reading, the courts are trying to stop me from doing the job that I was elected to do. We won by millions of votes. We won all 7 swing states, 7 out of 7. We won 312 electoral college votes. They said, 270 would be great. We won 312 and 2,750 counties versus 525 counties throughout the nation. That's why when you look at a map, it's all red. It's all red. Every inch of it is red, a little couple of blue dots. But they have to let us do the job that the voters want us to do. Judges are interfering, supposedly based on due process, but how can you give due process to people who came into our country illegally? They
Exactly.
want to give them due process. I don't know. We've created 350,000 new jobs and brought core inflation down to its lowest level in many, many years. Energy is down. Look at your cost of energy, way down. Groceries are down. Even eggs are down. Remember I came in, remember I was here a week and they started screaming at me, the fake news, egg prices have doubled. I said, I just got here. I've been here for 4 days. I said, tell me about egg prices. They've doubled. Well, they didn't double under me. I just got there and we did a great job. We brought down the cost of eggs. In fact, they said you won't have eggs for Easter. They wanted to we have a big Easter egg hunt at the White House. You saw it just take place. And they thought we should order thousands of plastic eggs. Plastic. I said, no, we'll do it. And we straightened out the egg situation very quickly. Our great Secretary of Agriculture did a fantastic job. And we had so many eggs, we didn't know what the hell to do with them. And prices of eggs have gone down 87% since I took office. That's something, right? But the price of food has gone down and mortgage rates are down and gasoline prices just hit $1.88 a gallon in 3 states. Can you believe it? It was at $3.50. It was at $4. We're drilling. Oh, we're drilling.
The Under Armour Gamer for 20 says, I know this is the wrong stream to do this on. First of all, any stream I'm on, you can say whatever you want, but specifically D-Day Cobra, this is the stream. This is a channel specifically where there is no specific thing. Like you can talk to me about whatever you want. I may not know the answer. I may not have the knowledge on things, but you're welcome to say whatever you want. I know this is the wrong stream to do this on, but I just tried GameStop same day delivery and they canceled my order because they didn't want to find my house. Just want to let everyone know that GameStop is trash. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I agree GameStop is trash. I don't like GameStop. I rarely shop at GameStop anymore, mainly because, and it's not the employee's fault, I hate going into a GameStop and having the employees try to upsell me on everything. It's that meme where it's like, I know more than you, where he's at the hardware store. I'm like, I know more than you. I don't, shut the fuck up. Just, I'm here to buy what I need to buy. I don't need you to ask me about, and I know it's not the GameStop employees' fault. It's the mandate that's put on them from corporate where they force them to upsell everything. Did you upsell today? Did you get an upsell? Did you get, I hate it so much. I can't stand it, but I don't blame the employees. But GameStop as a company is trash. I 100% agree. So I'm sorry that happened to you, brother. Let me get a couple of these real quick. Again, Darth Manic, thank you. You freaking mad lad. You legalize adulthood, you mad lads. Thank you again. I'll read yours one more time. Jeremy 2028, Elon VP, Ryan Secretary of Defense, Beardo Press Secretary. That's the one I disagree with. Trump Secretary of Social Media, Mike the Hype Man. LOL. Thank you, brother. Super Steve says Trump 2028. Hail the 199. Let's go. Eric K says the children left with the parents. They could have stayed. They would have gone to other relatives or foster. Why do you want to separate families? Exactly. Why do they want to do that? Your Barmy says for special Trump decal on your Switch too. Let me see. CG says moms here illegally but had U.S. kids, citizen kids. Moms were removed. Ask more than once if child could be placed with legal family. Mom said no. Wanted to take said baby with them. DHS facilitated that. I mean, at the end of the day, if your primary concern is what's happening with illegal immigrants, I don't fucking care about what you have to say because illegal immigrants are illegal. Okay? It's that simple. This nonsense about separating parents from children, shut the fuck up. There is a ton of people in this country right now that are in prison or jail that were separated from their kids. Are we supposed to not put people in prison or jail that commit crimes because we want to separate them from their kids? Fuck off. It's that simple. Mike Zero Source says, to end this night on a good note, could you give a shout out to the West Virginia Mountaineers? It's for a buddy I served with. Mountaineers are always free. Hell yes. Shout out to the West Virginia Mountaineers, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you again. Thank you for your service. Greatly appreciated. Panic at Skywalker says, hey, cardboard standard. If a crackhead mom and a dad get arrested for trespassing at Disney World, do their kids normally get to stay in the park? Boom. There you go. There you go. Simple as that. Lying dog face pony soldier says they support 20 million allowed illegally and demand a trial for each illegal going out. This is hatred for America and they should fuck off. Agreed. Andy Plays Game says Jeremy came when Trump said the words Nick Saban. I mean, I've just, much like Titanfall 3, I've accepted that's never happening. I've accepted that Alabama's and again, I've been a fan of Alabama my whole life, so I was there before Nick Saban. I'll be there after Nick Saban. Although college football sucks in general right now, so it's hard to be as invested in college football as I have been because of the NIL and the transfer portal and all that shit. But we're just going back to the pre-Nick Saban days now. That's all we're doing. NDI says, I did too. LOL. Mike Zero Source says, thanks for letting me vent. I promise next time I'll go back to posting my twisted jokes. God bless this country and the 199. God bless you, brother. Appreciate you. Modalicious, I sent you a tweet, X message, DM, whatever. Noted. I will check it out. Dark Dabble says, the flex Trump has given these students is next level. Darth Manic says, Jay is press secretary. That's not bad. That's not bad.
You know, drill, baby, drill, right? We drill, baby, drill. We do that. We got it down. We have it going good. And, you know, when energy drops that much, you don't have much inflation. It's hard to have inflation. It was just announced that in the first quarter, investments in the United States are up 22%, that we're leading the whole world in investment. Everybody's pouring into our country with big dollars. And it's all about November 5th, the November 5th election and tariffs and incentives that we've given that are going to make this country so much richer. We have $36 trillion in debt. That's going to start to come off. It's going to come off rapidly, but we'll be over $8 trillion in investment with Apple and others investing $500 billion each. We've never had a period of time in 2 months, because we're here for 3 months, a little bit more, but give me a break for the first month. You know, had to get a little acclimated.
Oh, my bad, NDI. My bad.
Because they're
My bad.
already looking to impeach Trump. You know, these crazy people. Let's impeach them. For what? We don't know exactly, but we'll try it. These people are crazy. So we had to, you know, get our bearings for the first couple of weeks. So in 2 months, we had over $8 trillion. Think of it, committed. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. There's never been anything like it in any country at any time. And it's all because they want to avoid the tariffs. We want to get here fast. And I said, you know, a number of times, tariff is the most beautiful word in the world. And I got absolutely decimated by the fake news. They said, what about love? What about your wife? What about your parents? What about religion and God? So I said, all right, it's the fifth nicest word I've ever seen. And since I've done that, I've been in good shape. Nobody's bothered me. They've been very nice. So it's the fifth most beautiful word I've ever heard. But it's making us very rich, and you'll be seeing the results pretty soon, sooner than most people think, because that's what other countries have been doing to us, just so you understand. They were tariffing the hell out of us. We couldn't sell cars in Europe. We couldn't sell cars in China. We couldn't sell cars in Japan or anywhere else. We couldn't do anything. And all we're doing is we're doing it to them, but we're doing it much better. And the U.S. military is suddenly seeing its best recruiting numbers ever. We've never had numbers like that. We now have waiting lists because there is such incredible spirit in our country. There's a great spirit. And just think, 6 months ago, and you remember, and it was embarrassing, before the election, 6 months ago, we were hearing and reading that numbers of those joining our military were at the worst levels ever. We've never had anything like it, right? You remember that? And now they're at the best levels ever. We have waiting lists to get into the military. We couldn't fill the positions, and that included in our police forces, our fire departments. We love our fire departments also. We can never forget our fire departments. But our police forces were begging for help. And now they're brimming over with people and applicants, and they're getting great ones. It's amazing what's taken place. And that's really the spirit. Each of the graduates in this arena will soon have the chance to help lead this project of national renewal. And that's what it is. It's a national renewal. We suffered so badly for 4 years. We had one of the greatest economies. We actually had the greatest economy in the history of our country during the first term of Trump. And then we got hit hard with inflation during the Biden economy. It was horrible. We were hit so hard. The worst probably ever. They say 48 years. We'll accept that. But I would say ever. You'll embrace this moment and you'll step forward with strength and grit, faith and patriotism to put America on a new trajectory for your children. And then you'll take your place among the greatest generations in the history of our country. I think you have a chance to be the greatest generation in the history of our country because we're turning it around and you happen to be available. You're available. That's a good time to be available. There are some times when it's not so good to be available, but this is a great time. I'm absolutely confident that the Alabama class of 2025 is up to the task. Are you up to the task? You learned a lot about winning here at Alabama, and now we need you to help win for America. For the business majors here today, I challenge you not merely to use your talents for financial speculation, but to apply your great skills that you've learned and had to forging the steel and pouring the concrete of new American factories, plants, shipyards, and even cities, which are going up all over our country. Don't just build a strong portfolio, build a very, very strong America, and you're going to do that. To the engineers, brilliant you are, technicians, scientists, and math majors, we need your Alabama spirit and competition to keep our country at the forefront of every single domain. America should have the world's tallest buildings, design the fastest airplanes, build the greatest cars, do everything the absolute best, better than any other nation in the world, and you can do it. And we will soon land American astronauts on Mars. That will happen. That will happen. In every field you have studied, there are problems to be solved and breakthroughs to be made. To the journalism majors, of which I've had a lot of problems with. I must be honest. I'm not sure I like them. No, I do. But you're really leading a very thing because we need a great and free press. We need a brilliant press. They're like a watchkeeper. They're very important, and you can go out and take it down a new track, help save the country. So important. Your task is so important, and it's to build a media that Americans can trust. And remember, the people of this country, they know the truth when they hear it. That's why the ratings, the approval numbers of the media are so low. We need those ratings to be 100%. We have to be able to trust our media. They say you have to have that. You need strong, strong borders, and you need really free, fair, clean elections. You need those things, but the media is a big part of it. In the world of health and medicine, there is an exciting new movement to get poisons out of our food supply, keep toxins out of our government. Clean out our environment and make America healthy again. And I think Bobby's going to do a great job, don't you? I think so. I think he's the guy we needed. And in government, it is the task of your generation to replace bureaucracy, graft, and waste with a new system that defends American freedom. These are big tasks before you, but the reward for your hard work will be the United States of America is stronger, prouder, better, and more unified than ever, ever, ever before. It's going to be. As you embark on this great adventure, let me share some of the biggest lessons I've learned from a lifetime spent building dreams and beating the odds. I beat a lot of odds, a lot of odds. A lot of people said, I don't know. but it worked out okay. Where are we? Oh, gee, I'm president. How did that happen? Now you're going to be in the same position. But some of the, would you like to hear some of the ideas, or should I just skip over that part, huh? That's going to be more interesting than all the other stuff, which was slightly political, right? I'm going to give it to you, though, just as I see it and as I've learned it, the hard way and the easy way. First, if you're here today and think that you're too young to do something great, let me tell you that you are wrong. You're not too young. You can have great success at a very young age. You're all very young. In America, with drive and ambition, young people can do anything. I was 28 when I took my first big gamble to develop a hotel in Midtown Manhattan, the Grand Hyatt, and it worked out incredibly well. But I was very young at the time. I was like a very young person in sort of an old person business. Steve Jobs was 21 when he founded Apple. Walt Disney was 21 when he founded Disney. James Madison, James Monroe, Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson. They were no older than 25 when they began the journeys that etched their names into the history books for all time. So to everyone here today, don't waste your youth. Go out and fight right from the beginning, from the day you leave this incredible university. Go out and fight tough, fight fair, but go out and fight. You're going to be very successful, because now is the time to work harder than you have ever worked before. Push yourself further than you have ever pushed yourself before. Find your limits and then smash through everything. Go and smash through. You've watched that football team smash through. You're going to do the same thing. You're at the age when you have the time and vitality to do really incredible things. If you just give it your all. You'll look back, and a decade from now, you'll be astounded by what you've achieved. You'll remember this day. You'll remember when the guy named Trump was giving the commencement address and he said I could do it, and guess what? I did. I think you're going to remember that very fondly. I hope so. Second of all, and very importantly, you have to love what you do. Okay? You have to. I rarely see somebody that's successful that doesn't love what he or she does. That's way you really like. Work isn't work. It's fun. I find it fun. I work all the time and I find it fun. If I didn't find it fun, I wouldn't be successful, whether it was real estate or in showbiz. I had a lot of different careers, but I loved real estate so much. And I was very successful at real estate because I loved it. I learned a lot from my father because I watched him work. He worked he was a workaholic. He loved to work. He's a good man. He was a tough guy, tough as hell, actually. Now that I think back, I don't know if you could even get away with that nowadays. He was tough, but he was a good man, I'll tell you. And he worked 7 days a week. He worked Saturdays, Sundays, it didn't matter. And I learned by watching him, he loved his life. He loved what he was doing. He had a great long-term marriage, a long, many years. He beat me on that one. No, mine are very successful, but they haven't lasted quite as long. It was close to 70 years. That was a long time. I said, Pop, you beat me on that one. But you know what I learned from him? That he loved life, and all he did was work. I see people that don't work hard and they're miserable. So go out and find, but he loved what he was doing. And you have to find something that you love, and you have to follow your own instincts. Listen to your parents. They're very wise, but you have to follow your instincts and your heart, your soul. And you want to be the very, very best you can be. Treat every day like a home game against Auburn. Fight like hell and enjoy doing it. And your coach can tell you all about that. Third thing is to think big. You know, you're going to do something, you might as well think big, because it's just as tough. You can think small. I know a lot of people, they thought small. They're very smart. I know others that weren't nearly as smart, but they had a better picture of the big picture, because it's just as hard to solve a small problem as a big problem, and it's just as much energy and everything else, except the result is going to be a smaller one. So love what you do, but think big if it's possible. Now, if it's not possible, that's okay too. You do something, you have to do something that you love. You will have all the same headaches and challenges, all the same delays and setbacks. So you might as well do something that's just amazing. America doesn't aim small. Alabama doesn't aim small, and neither do you. So think big when possible. Think big. Fourth is work hard. Work hard. Never, ever stop. An example is a great athlete, actually, Gary Player, golfer, great, great golfer. He wasn't as big as other men. He was actually on the small side. Don't tell him that. Friend of mine, don't tell him that because he doesn't understand that. But he worked very, very hard. He made up for it. He never stopped. He won 168 golf tournaments. Think of that, 100. I said, Gary, you're winning like every weekend. Do you ever choke or anything? I don't know what choke means. And he made a statement years ago that I read, and I thought it was sort of an incredible statement. He said, it's funny, the harder I work, the luckier I get, right? Think of that. The harder I work, the luckier I get. So you really have to work hard, and you're going to be successful because you have the talent. To get into this school is not easy. To get through it is even more difficult. You have a lot of talent. Fifth is don't lose your momentum. You just want to keep it going, and you have to know if you are losing it. You have to know when you're losing it. So maybe you stop, and maybe it's time to stop. Listen to the feedback. Think through your plan very carefully, and keep moving fast. The word momentum is very important. I mean, I'll just tell you a little story about a great real estate developer named William Levitt. He built Levittown. Some of you might live in a Levittown. He was the biggest developer in the whole country in the 1940s and so. And he built these jobs. He started with one house, then 2 houses, then 20 houses, then thousands and thousands of houses. And a company, Gulf and Western, came along and they said, we're going to make you an offer to buy your company. And they offered him a lot of money, more money than he ever thought he could make. And he retired, lost his momentum. He retired and he led a beautiful life. He had a wife, I must tell you, it was his second wife. It was a trophy wife. What can I say? I don't like telling you everything, but we're all friends, right? Can we talk? We're all friends. He had a trophy wife. And he lived a different life. He moved to the south of France, but he it was a life of tremendous luxury. He had so many millions of dollars. He was given a fortune for the company. And 10 years went by, and then 15 years went by, and he got a call from this big conglomerate, Gulf and Western, and they said, we're not doing well with the purchase, because he used to pick up every nail, every piece of sawdust, every piece of wood, every chip, everything, and he'd sell it. He'd make a couple of bucks. Everything was perfect. They can't do that. You know, these big companies, they don't do that. You see it a lot when an entrepreneur sells to a big company and then he ends up buying the company back for peanuts later on. Happens a lot. But he was the best at what he did. But 15 years went by and he was so excited, and they sold him back his company. And he started, and he was going to tear apart the world because he got bored with a life of luxury. And he started building and building and building, and the markets turned on him, and he went bad. He lost everything, and he went bankrupt, absolutely bankrupt. And it was a sad story to read. It was such an amazing story because he was so rich, but he paid them, and he bought it for the right price, bought it low, but he went wild. But he lost his momentum. He wasn't good at it anymore. And he was at a party on Fifth Avenue, I'll never forget. And it was a party of a very, very powerful man who was having the party in a magnificent apartment overlooking the park. And I walked in, and there were 50 or so people. I recognized most of them, all the biggest business people in the world, actually. Very glamorous. I was doing well. I was young, and I was doing well. And I was invited to parties like that. And I looked in the corner, and there was Mr. William Levitt sitting all by himself on a chair, looking very glum. Nobody was talking to him, because you'll find that when you're not successful, you lose a lot of friends. It's not a good situation. But there was nobody talking to him, but I wanted to talk to him because I was in the real estate business and he was, and most of these people were in different businesses. And I went over and talked to him, and I said, how are you, Mr. Levitt? He goes, Donald, he knew who I was. Not well. I'm not well. I said, so can you come back? He said, no, son, I lost my momentum. I shouldn't have done it. I lost my momentum. And I never forgot that expression. He lost his momentum. If he would have kept going, instead of selling and relaxing and going into a different life, he probably would have been 3 times bigger than he was, but he lost his momentum. And you have to know when it's your time. I mean, there'll be a time when you do lose. You see it with fighters. You see it with a lot of people. They have a great record and they retire. And then 4 years later, they say, I'm going back. I can beat that guy. And they get knocked to hell. And it's not good. It's not good. So he lost his momentum. You have to know when your momentum time is up. I call it momentum time. But follow your momentum. It's a very important word. You don't hear it from too many, but I've seen it. I've seen it a lot. Number 6, if you want to change the world, you have to have the courage to be an outsider. In other words, you have to take certain risks and do things a little bit differently. Otherwise, if that weren't the case, everybody would be successful. Doesn't work that way. Progress never comes from those satisfied with the failures of a broken system. It comes from those who want to fix the broken system. And you'll make the bigger money, you'll make the more success by acting that way. The other way may be more secure, but if you want to go to the top, you're just never going to do it unless you break the system. Change is never easy, and the closer you get to success, the more ferociously those with a vested interest in the past will resist you. They want to resist. So I just say, trust me on that, because I know you really do. You have to break the system a little bit and follow your own instincts. But if your vision is right, nothing will hold you down. Nothing. You have to have the right vision. If you look at some of these internet people, I know so many of them. Elon is so terrific, but I know now all of them, you know, they all hated me in my first term, and now they're kissing my ass, you know? Do you know? It's true. All of them. It's true. It's amazing. It's nicer this way. Now, in the first, you know, they didn't know what happened because I won an election that, you know, there was never a businessman that won a presidential election. Out of 100%, 8% were generals and 92% were politicians. Not even admirals, not even just generals. There are 8 generals: General Washington, General Grant, generals, General Eisenhower. But 8% were generals and 92% were politicians. And when I ran, everyone said, well, he can't win. He's a businessman. That's not going to work. And, you know, but you have a natural instinct for things. I guess I had a natural instinct. I said to somebody, was I a better businessman or politician? And they said, well, there are a lot of guys that made a lot of money, but there's only one guy that became president that was a businessman. So I guess you're a better politician, but I don't think of myself as a politician. I think of myself as a businessman, and I'm proud of that. And I've applied business instinct, and that's why I think you're seeing us doing so well. So number 7 is to trust your instincts, common sense. You can go very far in life with common sense. And I applied that to politics because some of these things, like they had open borders, let everybody in the whole world flow into our country. That's not common sense. They had transgender for everybody. We ended that, if you noticed, okay? But they had transgender for everybody. They said, I said, this is not working. This is not going to work. As I said before, you know, so simple. Men playing in women's sports. Did you ever see some of the records? Did you ever see some of these boxing matches? You know, we have to protect. These women are great athletes, but we have to protect. If you looked at the Olympics where they had transitioned people going into the boxing, where the women had boxing, and they had a great champion, a female boxer. I mean, after one punch, you walk back to the corner, said, I can't get hit like that. I've never been hit like that before. You look at all the volleyball players that have been hurt so badly with balls that are hit at levels that they've never seen before. But the greatest is like weightlifting. You ever see the weightlifting? Where they have a record that wasn't broken in 18 years? And they have, should I imitate it? You know, my wife gets very upset when I do this. She said, darling, it's not presidential. I said, yeah, but people like it. Should I do it or not? All right, I'm in trouble when I get home, but that's okay. What the hell?
Oh
I've
boy,
been in lots
here
of
we go.
trouble
Here we
before.
go.
But no, you look at the weightlifting where 18 years it stands, and they have this young woman, and her parents are right where you are in the front row, and they're so proud of her, and it's like 209 pounds, and she's going to lift that. The record stood for 18, think of it, 18 years, and they put an eighth of an ounce here and an eighth of an ounce here, little tiny little bit, and she's going to do it. Mom, I love you. I'm going to do it for you, Mom. And she goes, and she lifts, and she gets it. And, Mom, I'm going to do it, Mom. Can't do it. And then a guy comes along, or a gal, or whatever. A transitioned person comes along. And he was a failed weightlifter as a man, but he comes along, 206 pounds. They put the little thing on, and he goes, boom, boom. And breaks the record like by 119 pounds. That's not right. The other one is the swimming. You've heard me talk about it. Great swimmers, and you know, they rose to the top. Women swimmers, and they grew up together. And they're Olympic class swimmers, and they're qualifying for some big tournament. And now the race is getting ready to start, the big race. And one young lady, she was going to set the record. She fought all her life to set the record. She has to win it by one ninth of a second. Think of that, 1/9. I don't like those odds, 1/9 of a second, right? But she looks to the left and she sees all the friends that she grew up with down in California, from all over the country. They're all the best swimmers. Then she looks to the right and she sees the same thing, but there's a person next to her who's a giant. And she looks and she, oh my God, who is that? I don't recognize that person. That was a person that transitioned, and he had the wingspan of Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain, if anybody knows that. And as you know what happened, she was very, very badly injured in that meet because he went by her so fast that she was windburned. They had to take her out. She got serious windburn. He flew back and forth, and she didn't know what, but she got the hell knocked out of her, knowing that I'm only kidding. She wasn't windburned. She was just beaten by a lot. Or the race, did you see the race where they had the best female runners, and they had a guy who was a decent runner, a long distance race? And he won by 5 hours and 19 seconds. You know, normally you win by like 12 seconds, 2 seconds, a quarter of a second. He won by 5 hours and 19 seconds. It's crazy. And, you know, honestly, it's demeaning for women, very demeaning. These are great athletes. It's very demeaning, and we're going to protect women. We're going to protect women. We're going to protect everybody. So now that I'm in trouble with my wife, I'm going to blame the University of Alabama for asking me to go through with that stuff. But it's pretty descriptive, isn't it, really? It helps when you know that borders are not racist, speech is not violence, America is good, terrorists are bad, men can never become women, police are not criminals, and criminals are not victims.
That's right.
Eighth,
That's
everybody should believe. Thank you. Thank you very much. Everybody should believe in the American dream. It's real, it's there, and it's right before you. We're coming back to the American dream. Ninth, think of yourself as a winner. The power of positive thinking. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, from many years ago, wrote a book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And there is a lot to it, the power of positive thinking. Don't consider yourself a victim. Consider yourself a winner. In recent years, too many of our young people have really been taught to think of themselves as victims and blame people and be angry. Don't be angry. But in America, we reject that idea that anyone is born a victim. Our heroes are the ones who take charge of their own destiny, make their own luck, and determine their own fate. despite the odds, despite all odds. That's what happens. They're given a little chance in many cases, very little chance of success, and they become the most successful people in the world. Whether you were born rich or poor, black or white, male or female in America, anyone can be a winner, and our whole country will be cheering you on, and I'll be at the front of the line cheering you on, especially because you come from this incredible university. And next is to be an original. The all-time greats were people who had the confidence to be a little different. Teddy Roosevelt, Douglas MacArthur, George Patton, Amelia Earhart, Annie Oakley, Muhammad Ali, and so many others, far too many to name, lived their lives with pride, personality, and flair. God only created one of you. Remember that. God created one of you. You're all different. Some are close, but nobody is the same. You're one of a kind. So don't try to be someone else. Just be yourself. And finally, and most importantly, never, ever give up. Never give up. Never give up. And I've learned anything in life, and it's so true. One of the most important things you can learn, if you just went a little bit longer, if you just held out a little bit longer, you would have been successful. Well, the stories of that are legend. But I've learned that perseverance is everything. So whatever happens, no matter where you are in life, stay optimistic and just keep pushing forward. Just don't stop. Never, ever give up. Victory is right around the corner. I've watched Coach Saban win games that really were virtually over. You've seen it. You've been in the stands. He won a couple of games. I said, Coach, you got lucky as hell. He said, I didn't get lucky. I'm a talented guy. You know, those little touchdowns that come out of nothing. He's amazing. But he's a guy that doesn't quit and doesn't know what the word quit even means. He couldn't define it. He took victory out of the jaws of defeat, and you can do that too at every stage in my career. My enemies, of which there were many and probably are right now, I can think of a couple of people that don't like me too much right now. But they said that they have to do everything they can to keep me from winning, to keep me from making it. And I'm representing you, so I have to make it. I have big shoulders, but these are big shoulders. I have to win for you. I'm not winning for myself. I'm winning for you. Do you remember when they said that Donald Trump will never become president of the United States? Remember Barack Hussein Obama said that? Barack Hussein Obama. Donald Trump will never be president. Like 50 other politicians said that. Where are they now? Oh, let me see. Oh, there they are. Where are they now? But here I am standing before you as the 45th and 47th president. You heard that a lot. But against all odds, I did great in 2016. 2016, how great was it? And then I did much better in 2020. Sorry, the election was rigged. But it was a rigged election. And then in 2024, I made it too big to rig. I said, we got to do this again. We got to do this again. And we made it too big to rig. We made it. That was a great expression. I said, you got to go and vote. Even though I was leading big in the polls, I said, it doesn't matter. You got to make it too big to rig. And they did. They went out and they voted and voted and voted. And we won the whole thing. And it was so good. And it's such a great mandate for our country. That's the important thing. So never let anyone tell you that something is impossible. Ever, ever, ever. In America, the impossible is what we all do best. There is nothing you cannot do if you are willing to fight for it. You got to fight, fight, fight. Oh, I've heard that expression. Oh. Funny. That's not here. That's not here on the actually, most of what I've said tonight is not on the teleprompter. That's all right. Isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't need a teleprompter and can sort of have a little fun? Because I feel that this is home. You know, it's been such a great state for me. I feel it's home. When they said Alabama, I said, that has a good ring to me. But it's something nice about somebody that doesn't need a teleprompter, isn't it? Huh? But for the past 4 years, you've lived in a state known for its fighters, its champions, and its warriors, and you've lived in the great state of Alabama, one of the greatest of them all, from Huntsville to Birmingham, from Montgomery to Mobile, and from right here in Tuscaloosa. To the gleaming shores of the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. Everybody loves it. I wouldn't say Mexico's thrilled, but you can't have them all. They're not thrilled. You continue the legacy of Alabama legends who blazed the trails, won the games, tilled the fields, forged the steels, built the ships, and gave us the victories that built America and changed the world. The entire world was changed by our victories. This is the state that gave us the might of the Iron City, the power of the Saturn V rocket, and the roaring engines of Talladega. Talladega. We love Talladega. We love Talladega.
Used to love
This is the
Talladega.
state that gave us nothing but victory, the state of some of the greatest heroes in history, like Willie Mays, Jesse Owens, Joe Louis, your coach, Nick Saban, Hank Williams, and many others. Some of you will leave here today and travel the world, but you will always know that this state this is really sweet home Alabama, right? It's always going to be your place. I sort of feel that way myself because from a political standpoint, it's just been, we connected from day one. From the first day I set my foot on this beautiful soil, I connected with Alabama. And here in Alabama, we believe that the men and women who built this country are heroes and that America's destiny is to be the single greatest nation on the face of the earth. And we're bringing it back at a speed that nobody thought was possible. We believe in freedom and family, God and country. We cherish our Constitution. We revere our Bible, and we salute our great American flag. We honor our police. We respect our veterans, and we always stand for our one and only national anthem. We love our
One and only, baby.
Our national
One and only.
We believe in strong parents, strong values, strong communities, and very strong borders. And we believe that the United States military is the greatest force for peace and justice the world has ever known. We have a great military. We just had people that didn't know how to lead it. We believe the South is beautiful, Alabama is great, and America is our home. We believe in the SEC and the USA. Graduates of the Alabama class of 2025 standing here before you in this magnificent arena, it is clear to see the next chapter of the American story will not be written by the Harvard Crimson. It will be written by you, the Crimson Tide. That's true. That's true. That's true. I thought that was rather clever. If you look at what's going on, they get their $5 billion a year. That is not going to be so forthcoming. Now, wasn't that a clever one, though? Huh? Who would think of that? Because this is Alabama, and at Alabama, you fight, and you win. That's what you know how to do. Congratulations to you all. Congratulations to this great class of champions. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you all very much.
And I love hearing the Bama fight song. So Nick Saban actually introduced Trump tonight. I want to listen to that speech here in just a minute. What's up, Monica? Trump's law just can't be stopped. 63224. Dude, it's like a Trump rally. I love Trump in Alabama, baby. And I also think Kalen DeBoer, who's the current coach of Alabama, I think he's a Democrat too. That is awesome right there, man. I want to hear Nick Saban. Says Nick Saban actually introduced Trump. So here we go. I want to hear this really quick. So the greatest coach of all time, Nick Saban. Here we go.
And before I introduce President Trump, I have to tell you a story. You know, you all know that we win a national championship. We get to go to the White House, and it's a great experience for our players and each and every year. When we won in 2017, President Trump was there 2018, very gracious host, and he's the first president that invited us to come in the Oval Office. So I take the three captains in the Oval Office, and the president's really nice to everybody, and he's got this very big, good-looking, auspicious box on his desk that has a red button on top. And one of the players said, "Is that what you launch the missiles with?" And he said, "Well, push it and find out." Player said, "No, I don't want to do that." He said, "Oh, go ahead, push it, see what happens, find out." So Rashawn Evans finally got the guts up, went over, pushed the red button. Some lady came in with a Coke on a tray. So I really want to express my appreciation to President Trump for choosing the University of Alabama for his commencement address and making time to speak to our graduates. Now it is my distinct honor to introduce our next speaker. Please join me in welcoming the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
That's awesome. I'm fairly like, even if Saban is, and I don't think Saban's a Trump guy, but Saban's a class act, so he'll do what's necessary. So so that was pretty cool to see. That was pretty cool to see. I don't think Saban's a Trump guy, but I could be wrong. But I don't think he is. Alex of the Mountain says there are 400,000 missing kids at the border. They don't actually care about kids. That is 1,000% accurate. Modalicious says, geez, don't these kids have a bedtime? Wrap it up. Let's see. General Duality says, hail to 199. Star Wars watch on Locals was a blast. I did want to highlight that one because I'm glad you guys enjoyed watching Star Wars over on Locals. I think Empire is next and then Return of the Jedi. So I wasn't able to make it tonight, but I hope to make it for a future watch party. NDI says, read them out of order. I sent a DM to. Got you. Heartbreak Zero says children born to illegal immigrants should reflect the status of the parents. And US v. Wong Kim should be revised. Hail you, Sig Mage of the 199. Vault 95 says bailed on Timmy Cass to watch a Real Man show. Hell yeah. Kevin Cron says, I hope Jeremy has a paper towel nearby so his fingers are not sticky, if you know what I mean. Trump talking, Roll Tide graduates. Yapping Tom says, I watched Pierre rallies, and they were bland, safe, and politically correct for Canada. America should appreciate the raw authenticity and potential of Trump. Hell yeah. Monica Sherman says, Jeremy, this was a great cast. All hail to the Legion of Autism. Alice McCarthy says, I'm late. Was watching Star Wars on Locals. Hell yeah. Little Orphan Funkhauser says, Bane Trump, time to go mobile, Alabama. I'm a young, vibrant man, nothing held back. Admirable. And 6'3", 224. MJ says, what memory these kids will have? Absolutely. Hunter becomes a new member. Ellie Dragonfly with a super sticker. Lou with a super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate that. One thing I want to talk about real quick before we go is this story that's kind of all over the place right now with this woman that has gone mega viral. And let me see if I can find it. Okay, so this woman right here has gone mega viral. I don't know how you pronounce her name, but she has gone mega viral. Okay. And this is a big story. This is a big story. So first of all, I'm going to play the clip. She has some choice words for a child that was trying to steal from her. Here we go.
This Karen calls an autistic.
Oh, I didn't know it was a fucking voiceover from some fucking, never mind. I was about to call that person what I want to call him. I didn't know it was a voiceover. Hang on, let me find the actual real video because some fucking soy boy was probably crying about her. I could already see how he called her a Karen. So let me find the actual real video so I don't have to deal with losers like that. Here we go. Okay, this should be the real video, right? Okay, here's the real video right here. Here we go. Here we go. All right.
You call him a nigger, the child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call the child the nigger word? It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again?
Fuck you, nigger.
Okay.
Nigger.
All right, that's what you say.
You'll go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger? Yeah. The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
Fuck off.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
So, call him. So what has the internet had to say? And this is why this story right here is so interesting to me. Okay. When you say that we're gonna see what the internet has to say. Okay, well, I wonder what the internet's going to have to say. What is this chick's name? What is her name? Is it it starts with like SH or something like that? Somebody tell me what her name is so I can type it in the search bar really quick. Her name is Ryan Wood. Yeah, I heard that. Somebody's got to tell me. SHIL. Let's see. Hendricks, right? Is that it? Okay. Here it is. Yeah. Okay. So she has a GoFundMe. And let's see what exactly the internet has to say about her GoFundMe. Boom. She has raised $155,000. The initial goal was set at $100,000. Now the goal is up to $250,000, and her reasoning is help me protect my family from the cancel mob that's trying to go after her and dox her and everything like that. So let's see what the internet has to say about it. The reason that I find this to be so funny is because fuck these cancel mob losers. All right. I'm sick and tired of it, and I think people in general are sick and tired of it. I come from the mindset that I don't think any words should be banned. I think we should be able to say whatever the fuck we want, and we should never have to apologize for it. Now, society has decided because of the mainstream media and social media rules that there's certain words we're not supposed to say. I think we should be able to say whatever the fuck we want. And if that offends you, fuck you. I don't care. I'm not offended by any words. I don't give a shit. Now, obviously, we're on YouTube, so there's certain words that I'm not going to say because YouTube is part of my business model. So I'm not going to get my channel in trouble from that perspective. But the reality of it is words are nothing more than just that, words. And you're seeing this woman symbolize that mindset from a lot of people. A lot of people are sick and tired of this shit. We're tired of walking on eggshells because of your fucking fake feelings. And that's what it is. It's truly fake feelings. No one's actually offended over the N-word. They're just not. Okay? Listen to a fucking rap song if you think people are offended over the N-word. Nobody's actually offended over that fucking word. It's just a bunch of bullshit. And so I'm sick and tired of it. Most people are sick and tired of it. And this young lady represents that mindset. And apparently, I don't want to make any accusations because I'm seeing a lot of different reports. Some people are saying that the person that was recording her might be not a very high-class citizen, we'll just say. I don't know if that's been confirmed or not, but some interesting reports about the person that recorded her are out there. We'll find out if that's actually true or not. So I don't want to go deep down that rabbit hole, but it's apparently this person has a lot of skeletons in the closet, to say the least. And so you recorded this young lady with her kid. Now, look, do I think that, like, I will say, like, I can be as, I can be as sympathetic to the situation as possible. In general, do I think do I think an adult should be calling another child like really disrespectful names? No, not really. But maybe raise your kids a little bit better so that they're not stealing from other kids. Call me crazy. I never had a problem with my kid at that age stealing from other kids. Maybe you should raise your fucking kids the proper way. Maybe if someone is saying something to your kid that you don't like, maybe be a parent instead of the first thing you do is pull your fucking phone out so you can try to cancel somebody, and instead it's backfired completely. So, I'm still learning about this story, so we're gonna see how it all plays out. But ultimately, she has won. Your attempt to cancel her has backfired gloriously, and that is I'm always going to be on the side of someone that's trying to be canceled. I'm always going to be on the side of that person in terms of them winning and destroying the mob that tries to cancel them. In no way, shape, or form do I subscribe to the mindset that I have to be offended for you, ever. I've never felt that was, even before like I got on the internet or anything like that. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. That is just the truth of the matter. Generally speaking, are you a friend of mine? Are you part of my family? Do we have, any type of relationship? Then at that point, I can care about your feelings. But I don't have to just randomly care about your fucking feelings because you're offended by something. I just don't. And I never will. That's why when people say anything to me, whatever it is, you voted for Trump. I don't care. I didn't ask you who to vote for. Oh, you bought the Nintendo Switch. I don't care. I didn't ask you how to spend my fucking money. And I never fucking will. Just like you shouldn't ask me how you should spend your money. It's not my fucking business. When someone makes your business their business based on their hurt feelings, that's dealing with an emotionally weak person, and you shouldn't give a shit what they think about anything. Because once you bend the knee to someone that's emotionally broken, once you bend the knee just a little bit, you will be trapped in their hurt feelings forever. And they will always need to project their hurt feelings onto you. That's the way we're moving. Like Trump's presidency, Trump winning represents that. People are tired of walking on eggshells. And this young lady represents that for a lot of people. So there you go. That's it. Super chat from Munchie Ninja. Oh, man. Graham Robbins says, hey, Jeremy, sorry, but Don James is GOAT. He did more with less than anyone. Now, who's worse, Gene Chizik or Gus Malzahn? Chizik is worse than Malzahn. Chizik's worse than Malzahn. Malzahn's a pretty good coach. Fantastic vs. Knox says Kamala chugging her wine caskets while watching TV, Trump on TV. That should have been me. I should have been POTUS. I'm more qualified than Trump. Mo Zamboni, future Mrs. Kennel confirmed. Absolutely. What's up, Mo? Heartbreaker says hate speech is free speech, and I'm Latino. It is. It is. It's ridiculous that anybody pretends to be offended over words. It's unbelievable. Maximus VT says, where are my breeds at? I actually pulled this up. Do I still have this in my bookmarks? Because it does. Every time I listen to this, it just makes me happy. And I pulled it up for Tuesday night's main event. It just makes me happy to listen to Modern Warfare lobbies, because what Modern Warfare 2 lobbies were, Modern Warfare 2 lobbies represent normal, everyday people, because that's how normal, everyday people are. Real friends call each other names. Real friends disrespect each other. Real friends never, like, yes, there's a time and a place. So like sometimes something serious will happen and your friends are like, oh shit, my bad. But 99% of the time when you see your friends just call you names. That's what they do. That's how normal people operate. That's how it's always been. And this whole like politically correct society bullshit, nobody believes that's real. It's a big fake. It's just a fake bullshit narrative that the media has been pushing for a long time. And, we're all kind of sick of it. I'm trying to find this right now if I can find it. I know I've got it somewhere. The Modern Warfare 2 lobby. It's so great if I actually can find it. My God, I've got a lot of bookmarks. I saw someone tweeted out that she's the white Rosa Parks. That's pretty damn funny. The white Rosa Parks is actually pretty funny. All right, I got to find this now because I've already played the clip of what happened. Now, I got to find my Modern Warfare 2 lobbies, because some of you may not know about the greatness of Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. Some of you may not, but I'm telling you, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. Okay. All right, now it should be in my bookmarks. So let's refresh. Humanity peaked right here. Okay, here's my tweet. This is where I said humanity peaked right here with the Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. We'll go in a little bit and see. I think it was like right around here.
And you beat us like 2 fuck out, and we'll beat you if you want, motherfucker. You beat us like 2 seconds. 2 fucking seconds, and you think you're hot shit? You think you're fucking hot shit? Well, hold Clayton, and you beat us like 2 seconds. What you fucking do? Now I'm gonna cry, motherfucker.
I'm sitting here drinking right now. I got the right to say what the fuck I want to say. What the fuck? I'm supposed to be quiet like you little bitch ass motherfuckers. Why you got a microphone on? Say what the fuck you want to say. Say what's on your mind. What do you want to say? Fucking nigger. Say it, man. Be a man about it.
Shut the fuck up.
Be a motherfucking man about it. Say white power. understand. White power.
White motherfucking power. Now shut
White
the fuck
power
up.
then. God damn it. White power, bitch.
Yeah, white power. Shut the fuck
You got
up.
a microphone and you telling people to shut the fuck up. Shit, why you got it, bitch? You waste all your mother money and shit, and you don't talk on it, bitch. What you want to talk to your goddamn little gay ass friends when they online with you? They ain't online with you now. They ain't talking about dicks and shit. Shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. I'll come over your house and kick motherfucking Xbox to the floor.
Yeah, that's right. Come over. You know my address?
No, I'm just. I'll probably come over there and fuck everything moving over there.
Yeah,
Except the mail.
What the hell are you guys saying, man? I'm not gonna bother talking shit back to this kid, man. Waste my time.
Whatever, you fucking Negro eating bastard.
Fucking Negro eating bastard.
Yes.
So I'm motherfucking fat ass. Dude, all you white guys do same shit in America. You did McDonald's 24/7.
China?
What they care about America? You're in China? You want to come to China and get your ass kicked?
You want to come to America and get shot?
You come to China and go.
Tinker Winker.
It's not like fucking burgers.
Go to China and get your ass shot.
Fucking grand.
What the hell is with your voice?
Your mom's voice.
God. Sounds like you just deep-throated a cow.
Yeah, I deep-throated your mom.
That doesn't make sense.
Okay. I sounded like I deep-throated a cow, and then I said I deep-throated your mom, so your mom's a cow.
Oh man, it's so great. Here, I'll just retweet this. I'll retweet it. So there you go. So you guys can find it on my Twitter account now. God, I got tears in my eyes. It's so good, man. It's so good. But that's reality right there. That's how normal people think. That's how normal people operate. And that's what this chick represents now. So let's see. Panicking Skyfaller says, did you just call that child the N-word? Ian says, watching tonight from Butler, PA, 5 minutes away from where God saved Trump's life. Insane to think about where we are now versus then. Hail the 199. Holy crap. That's awesome, man. Transfer says, the term you're looking for is, can't say it on YouTube. Transfer becomes a new member. Thank you. Maddening new member or member message. Thank you. Beardoff becomes let's see, a new or a $1. Thank you. Night Call says being offended is and always will be the offended person's problem, not the offender. It's been like that since the history of mankind. Yes. Tommy says my family didn't serve in World War II for me not to be able to say the N-word in public. God bless America. Maybe the Germans weren't all bad. Mike Zero Source says I have love for honkies, Kid Rock. The Under Armour Gamer says all Bama fans that think their first cousin is hot, hail the 199. You're not wrong. Just a dude on a phone. I love that I don't have Uno clip. That's good chat. Let's see. And I got hot cousins, man. They're hot. A hot chick's a hot chick, okay? It is what it is. So, okay, so we're gonna end it there. I may have to clip some of this out, some of the videos that I reacted to. We'll see if that passes. I don't know. But Mike Zero Source says I have a buddy who is black and served in Africa. Asked him how was Africa. His response was, "Thank God." I'm not saying that. I can't repeat that. I'll get clipped. Delta Entertainment. Linko Kenobi says, what's up, everyone? I'm uploading 10 videos while listening to this channel. Love this channel. Hail the 199. What's up, Jeremy? Have a good night. Hell yeah. Let's fucking go. Mo Monty says, hell of a great stream, Jeremy. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. So somebody came in here and said, oof, below 2,000 viewers. Like, yikes. Dude, I'm happy that I have 5 people watching me. So if you think me not having 2,000 people watching me at this point in time is bad, I'm happy 5 people are watching. So I appreciate it. But we have had a lot of super chats. So if that makes you feel any better, since you're, worried about how many people are watching. But yeah, I'm just happy 5 people are watching me. That's all that matters to me. Don't pay attention to them. Well, I don't, but I enjoy it. Like, you know me, I feed off the trolls a little bit. I try not to interact with the trolls that much, but I do, I feed off of them. And, but you guys know, how it is. The 199, stands for individuality. You can have whatever opinions you want. You can support what you want. You can, spend your money on what you want to. You never have to apologize for it. That's my philosophy in life, is just individuality, individual responsibility. And that's how I'm always going to be. So, but only 1,800, lame. I know, so bad. Bruce is proud to be one of the 5+ watching. Fuck that guy. Whole 5 people watching, baby. Let's go. Fantastic vs. Knox says, did you hear about an African-American who left America because of Trump to live in, is it Ghana? Now she'd rather have racism. I'd be bawling my eyes out. Yes, we reacted to that. The Hodge twins actually reacted, and I reacted to their reaction. It was really great. But all right, guys, thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Again, if you're interested, make sure you're supporting us over on Locals. The 199 is over there, and we've had a lot of streams. And it's been a lot of fun. So I hope you guys are interested in going supporting us over there. We do appreciate it. I hope you have a good night, and we'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.